Bullshit.
The No BS Marketing Show is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audible.com/nobs. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. It's the No BS Marketing Show. I'm your host, Dave Mastovich. Our guest today is Jan Elliott. But first, let's cut the bullshit. If you're a loyal No BSer, you've read or heard me talk about how creative-driven firms, ad agencies, marcom companies, many digital marketing firms are at risk because of the changes in the marketing world. Those changes include the increasing ability to measure results and the big management consulting firms moving into the space. In the latest Ad Age agency report, 4 consultancies rank among the world's largest ad agency companies. Accenture Interactive at number 6, PwC Digital at number 7, IBM iX at number 8, and Deloitte Digital at number 9. Why does this continue to happen? Clients want productivity and results. They're no longer willing to accept the mystification of branding and advertising that was pervasive from the Mad Men era through the turn of the century. Large consulting firms realize that they can pick up the marketing part, the marketing intel, the marketing research, the segmentation, the marketing solutions, with some existing team resources and by buying marketing firms. You've heard me say it for the past decade. It's not about the creative. It's about solving clients' problems. Yes, that still means creative messaging that makes an emotional impact, but it also means having a business-minded approach that focuses first on clearly defining and drilling down the client's target markets. Then, finding out what those target markets want, think, and feel through marketing intel. Follow that up by listening to what they tell you and then developing solutions for clients so they can give those target audiences what they want, when and where they want it at a price they're willing to pay. Then you can creatively tell those target audiences the story again and again. We've moved into a no BS marketing era, and there are no signs of going back to Don Draper-style advertising dominance. What does that mean to you? If you're working in this space, it means building your marketing solutions skills over focusing primarily on creative for creative's sakes. If you're a client, ask your strategic partner, whether that's a marcom, digital marketing firm, ad agency, PR company, ask that strategic partner what drives them the most. If they start talking about amazing creative or storytelling, without mentioning how that storytelling is built around real marketing, run. You can do better. Our guest today is Jan Elliott, Managing Director for eWomen Network in Pittsburgh. She authored the book Faithful Retirement, a guide for women finding joy in her later years, and has been coaching women on planning and transitioning into retirement. Jan coaches women through her online courses and was awarded a Woman in Power Award from the Raymond Aaron Group. Jan, welcome to the show.
Hi there. Good morning. Nice to be here. We're
happy to have you. Had the chance to run into each other at an event here in Pittsburgh, found your story compelling and thought it could be interesting to our listeners. Let's start off first. You were laughing and high-fiving almost during that Cut the BS rant. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I was.
What are your thoughts?
Well, you're just right on. We just have to get to the root of whatever the issue is or the challenge that the client wants. And, if you start talking about you and all about what you have to offer, that's not where it's at. So listening is critical. Just finding out, there's a lot of words that we bounce around out there like influencer and expert and that kind of thing. But the bottom line is to be a transformer, to take that person and find out what hurts the most, whether it's acquiring new clients, whether it's a emotional situation. You just got to get to the root of the problem, and you have to listen and just keep asking.
I'm happy to hear that, and it's a great way to kick off the show. You've got an interesting background, so let's spend a lot of time with you telling us about your career path, your journey.
Right. Thank you. Well, my degree's in home economics education. I know that's really goes back a long time, with a minor in interior design. And I always had found myself working with women and being confident and clear in my own skin and so on. I found out that a lot of women are not. And it really became my mission and goal to take women to a higher level. And that's why I really got focused on eWomen Network and into coaching and really working with women. My career and my life kind of took a turn when we retired. And we lived here in Pittsburgh for 17 years, and then we moved to near Wilmington, North Carolina. And bottom line is I flunked retirement. Because I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And so I have to be doing something. I have to be working on something. But I flunked it emotionally and financially. I was not prepared. We downsized a little too quickly. And the whole thing just, I went through a really rough time, actually, in my life because I wasn't living my life purpose and so on. So I felt really called to write the book, Faithful Retirement, and dealt with the 10 issues or concerns that women have in retirement. Did a lot of surveying, a lot of interviews and things to really put my book together, and found out that money is a big issue with women. We don't have our finances right, and I didn't either. And so I really sat down and did some research, because what challenged me is I found out that what I didn't know. And so I began to put this program together, and starting with finances. So rewriting your finances, or rewrite your money story, and really helping women understand. What I hear all too often is, oh, my husband just takes care of all the finances. That's okay, but you need to know what's going on. You wouldn't go to your doctor and say, oh, my doctor takes care of all my health. Well, if you do that, that's a mistake number 2. But you have to know and understand. I can tell you horror stories of women who have not had their finances in order, and 45% of all women today will be divorced when they retire. And you have to know what's going on.
Let's go back, because this is serious stuff. And so when you first said you flunked it, I instinctively chuckled, but I didn't mean to make light of it.
No, that's fine.
Go back and talk about that took some courage and vulnerability.
Yes,
to admit that you had to change this, and then you tried to do it for others.
Right.
You go to start writing the book, and just walk me through that. When does it hit you that, like, hey, I can put this together into a book?
Well, the emotional part of my journey was I was very unhappy with the situation, but I began to be resentful and angry, and why me? And this is not what I wanted to do, and so on. And I really had to go back to my faith, to my roots, because this is Faithful Retirement. It is a Christian faith-based book. And I really had to dig deep and say, okay, you know what? I've got to get back to who I am and really focus on prayer and connecting. And then the second thing was, again, getting my just putting my thoughts down on paper. And I listened to a seminar or a workshop one night, and it was about writing a book. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell my story. And so I signed up for this program, and the words just flowed onto paper. I had a fabulous editor that I worked with, and since have gotten another one who helped me really, put my book together. And then through my coaching with coaches, because I've had many coaches and mentors, I would never be without one. And she said, she's like, it's not just women in retirement that need this. She said, you have a message to women to get their finances right, to create their life story. You don't have to be stuck in something. You can change that. And then to celebrate your life purpose. So it's really been a journey. It's been a journey.
This show's about leadership and communication. There's a couple of things tied to what you've done here, regardless of audience, because I believe that all of us can benefit from being better with our finances, male or female.
Absolutely.
But the leadership aspect was having the vulnerability, the courage to admit you had had to get better at something. And then during that self-learning to not do what most of us do is we're listening to some kind of podcast or a workshop or reading a blog post and we go, well, that's interesting. And then don't do anything with it. You stopped and took the time and decided to be a leader and figure out how you could tell that story. So then you get into writing the book. Talk about how that happened, because having written my own books, I know that there's a lot of stress and effort that goes into it. What was your process?
Well, this program that I had signed up for with a gentleman in Toronto was called the 10-10-10 group, and I just followed his procedures. And like I said, the words just flowed onto paper. I wrote it in like 2 months. Most people take years to write a book, but I just felt that I had interviewed enough women and had enough background to just let these words flow onto paper. So after I got the book written, wanted to develop it into some workshops and some speaking engagements and just get my message out there. And the honor or the privilege that I had was accepting the award for a women's conference in Toronto from writing the book. And that was very unexpected. But I've been told that, retirement's not easy. We think, oh gosh, here's the funny part. You often see the happy couple running on the beach in Florida, right? And just skipping through the sand and just happy. That's great for about 2 weeks. And then reality sets in and all of a sudden it's a vacation that doesn't end. How will you spend your time? How will you communicate with one another? I wrote a blog on, always for breakfast and dinner, but never for lunch. So, we got to do our own thing. And here's the thing. You may not have in your mind clear what your spouse or significant other has in his mind on what it's going to look like. So all of that's a huge transition. And that's what the book's about.
We are with Jan Elliott. All kinds of interesting stories here already, and we're going to dig into even more of them. The No BS Marketing Show is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audible.com/nobs. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Well, one of the questions that we put the guest on the spot for is something that can help our audience. And it's the question about when you were a BSer, when maybe you were a difficult employee, a tough boss, maybe your communication wasn't where it needed to be. So putting you on the spot, when were you a BSer? What did you learn about it to fix it that might help our audience?
As I said, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I like to do my own thing. I like to just be the boss. And my husband always teased me. He said, well, because you're not a team player. Yes, I am a team player. I can be. But when I worked for a company or companies, it just wasn't as fulfilling and rewarding for me. I needed to be an entrepreneur. So, fake it till you make it, say the right things, do the right things, but deep down inside that just, it wasn't me. And I knew that I'd risen to the top. I was a regional supervisor and, for this particular, weight loss company. And, I believed in the company. It was great, but I just wasn't me. I had to do my own thing.
So what made you the BSer though?
Being a good talker. I mean, just listening to what people want and saying what they need to hear instead of maybe what's in my heart.
Now you're getting something.
Yeah,
okay, so what was happening was you were selling what you thought they needed to hear it rather than selling what they really wanted and finding a way. Maybe there were instances you couldn't have delivered and you needed to say that. Right.
And see, most companies, it's all about the money. And I agree with that. I mean, it has to be about the money. But if it's all about the money and it's never about the client, it's never about the person and accomplishing their goals, I don't get that. There has to be a balance there. So I'm challenged when it's just all about the numbers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think the takeaway for the audience is something that we're all guilty of. I've been guilty of it, and you still have to work on it, is even if you're not in sales, you have to sell yourself. You have to sell
Yes.
your ideas. And when you're talking to your boss, if you're just trying to say what you think they want to hear, that's
Correct.
what you're kind of alluding to.
Correct.
That's a BS thing that you did and you overcame
Right.
by saying, I'm just going to listen more, state my
Correct.
opinion, frame my opinion in the positive way that's going to help that person, as opposed to trying to figure out, let's give them what they want, whether it's true or not.
Right, correct. One of the questions I always ask my women in my workshops was, how many of you own your own company or CEOs kind of thing? And very few people would raise their hands because I was usually doing a seminar workshop for business people at that time. And no women would ever raise their hands, maybe one or two. And I would always ask, let me ask you that question again. How many of you are the CEO and president of your own company? And they had to stop and think a minute, and pretty soon hands started raising, because the answer is we all are. You are president and CEO of You Incorporated, and you have to have a mission. You have to have a vision for your own self, for your own passion. If it doesn't fit with the company that you work with, it's time to leave. That's challenging for women. I've got a good job. I have benefits. I make a good salary. But at the end of the day, when you're drained and when it's just not there's a better way. There's a better way.
Really, we have to be energized as much as possible at what we're doing for at least a third of our lives. At least a third of our life is spent working. And I say at least, and then when you consider almost a third is spent sleeping.
Yeah.
So you're really down to, you've got to enjoy that part of work. And so if it's draining you as much as it's energizing you, that's, first of all, if it's just even, you need to leave. But if it's draining you more than it's energizing you, you have to leave. And people tend to be afraid to take that chance. So talk about that a little bit. How do you help women in your network to take that chance?
Yes, that's an excellent question. Because as I said, my personality type is that I am very clear and confident in what I do. So I have to get to the root of the problem, or to the root of why you feel that you can't do that. What are your limiting beliefs? What do you feel that you have instilled in you so much that it's become part of you that you can't move out of that comfort zone? So we work on fears and frustrations, positive affirmations, going back to prayer and your faith, if that's part of your walk. And after we get through that, then we have to put a plan in place. What's your first step? What's the second step? Do you need to get some more education? Do you need to take a course? To reimagine your life story, it's called Discover, Decide, and Do. So first we have to discover where it's all about you. And like I said, we really dig deep. We have a vision board. Now people say, a vision board, we just cut out magazine pictures. Yeah, we do. But there's a method for that. And there's a reason for that. Then we decide, what is my passion? What is my purpose? What do I really want to do in life? And then that's your life purpose. So asking questions, just putting it down on paper, putting a roadmap to it, mind mapping. I love mind mapping.
Putting something to paper is so essential to
Absolutely.
Most of what we talked about. When you started to write that book, you probably started with an outline, then you started writing things. You put things down to paper or onto the computer. The same thing with your life's purpose, your vision, your mission has to be written down. And I think putting it to paper, pen to paper, is actually even more important than typing it into the screen, because there's that tactile feeling that we get to. And that's going to be a tough thing for generations, the millennial generation, even the early younger part of Generation X, the younger Generation Xers, because they've been accustomed to not writing things down.
I agree. Focusing on your blueprint, your pattern for life, your purpose. One of the things, one of our values in eWomen Network is to lift others as you climb.
Now, talk to me about eWomen Network as far as its history, how it's structured, what its mission is, and how it achieves its goals.
Yes, thank you. Sandra Yancey is our founder. She started this in a living room in her Plano, Texas apartment, because she felt that women were really getting left behind. And she is a dynamic woman. 20 years later, for eWomen Network, she has a mission, and it is for 1 million women to earn $1 million each in revenue each year. That's a huge goal. That's a huge mission. And she has put a whole success system in place for women to do that. And bringing it down to the chapter level, it's not just about networking and handing out business cards and saying, well, you buy my product and I'll buy your product. It's not about that. It's collaboration. It's a mastermind. It's putting women together who have like-mindedness, but that we can help one another. I've been around for a really long time, and I've got a whole file cabinet in the back of my head to help women and coach women on how to do that. And at eWomen Network, we have small strategic business introductions. We meet in little small masterminds, and then we have our live event once a month. It's going to be out at Nevillewood, the third Tuesday of every month. And we're so excited to have Darieth Chisholm as my first speaker for our first live event. And she's all about women and all about passion. And her book was Hustle, From Passion to Hustle. So there are so numerous ways that we do that. At our live event, we also have 2 strategic networking rounds that we do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
so tell me this, it's structured in what way? There are monthly meetings, and what's the month? You don't have to tell me the fee, but there's a fee, and how do you?
Yes, there is a fee to join eWomen Network, and then there's a monthly fee to have your profile up. The thing that makes it interesting is that you do get 2 coaching sessions with our premier coaches. You really need to go to eWomenNetwork.com you can find all these things. It's really a well put together website to learn about this.
You're basically starting the eWomen Network in Pittsburgh right now. This year is your first year.
Yes. I've only been doing it for about a month. Yes.
So prior to this month, it was not available in Pittsburgh, but it's been available across the country for over 20 years.
Yes. Correct. This is kind of how I look at it in Pittsburgh. And I got to thinking about this when I was at my training. Pittsburgh has over 130 bridges across our 3 rivers. And those bridges bridge together our townships and our villages and all of Pittsburgh, because we are the Steel City, we are the black and gold, and we are bridged together. And I look at eWomen Network as bridging together the women entrepreneurs of Pittsburgh who truly want to be the leaders, who want to rise above whatever their challenge is and become a part of a network that where we focus. It's amazing. It's just an amazing thing. I'm so excited to be with it. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we talk about in this show a lot is a tool that you can offer, and your tool might very well just be the eWomen's Network. But what's a tool that you've used that you think can help with productivity for anyone listening?
I personally think that everyone needs a coach, but you need the right coach. Coaching and mentoring are 2 different things. They can be combined, but a coach is... I have a fabulous coach that I work with right now outside of eWomen Network. She keeps me I've worked with a lot of coaches, and I've had to fire my coaches. I mean, they just don't work for me. But the coach that I'm working with right now gets me. And, I'm the kind of personality that I chase rabbits down rabbit holes because I'm a big picture person. And she really keeps me focused on the one thing that can make a difference, the one thing that can make the cash register ring, the one thing that can get technology going for me. So I'm going to say that we all need a coach or a mentor, and we have to find the right one. Now, here's one of the secrets. When you have to interview your coach, the coach doesn't interview you. You have to interview the coach. Is that the right person for you? You, as the client or the mentoree, has to do most of the talking. If the coach does a lot of talking about her or his program, and this is what I can do, and run, because it's not about that. Yeah, you want to make sure they have their systems in place and they know it's no BS. They know what they're talking about, but it has to be the right one for you.
What about from your background, all the different people you've worked with and different bosses, different partners, different clients? Are there a mentor or 2 outside of family members that you'd like to mention and the impact they had on you?
Yes. I've had spiritual mentors in the past. And when I was in Wilmington, North Carolina, my Bible study fellowship leader was a huge instrumental mentor in me in bringing me back to my faith and getting over my anger and resentment and just, getting over that flunking retirement part of my life. And my mentor right now and my coach is someone else that I met in Wilmington, and her name is Marge Brown, and she is with Brown Consulting, and she's more of a left brain person in that she's big with systems and structure, which is what I need because I'm more the right brain. But she's also very creative. She can come up with a podcast or a blog post title in seconds, and I need that. So, yeah, getting the right coach, getting a really, but see, that's what I do when I sit down with my women that I work with, because we find out what you need. If you need a business coach, you need a spiritual coach, you need a marriage, relationship coach. It's all different. We got to solve those deep down issues.
Let's dig into the marketing of eWomen Network.
Yeah.
Since you are starting it here in Pittsburgh, bringing something to Pittsburgh that's been around the country for 20 years. We're now finally going to have access to it. How are you getting the word out?
Very good question. I've been doing a lot of networking myself. I do a lot of speed networking. I love those events where you really just sit down and kind of connect with people. I also I have to get into social media because we know that's where it's at. And people follow people on Facebook and Instagram and that kind of thing. I have met another young man here in Pittsburgh. His name is Michael Marra, Marra, and he has developed a Me University, and it's incredible what he has on his website to learn about marketing and how to promote. And so I'm going to be working with him one-on-one. In fact, he's going to be speaking at our event in July, and as our founder, Sandra Yancey, says, eWomen Network is for women entrepreneurs in leadership and a very few smart men. So he's very anxious to come and talk to our group, and he's going to talk about Instagram because we know that we've got to tell our story on Instagram.
So if we have a listener or two or 1,000 right now that are women that are either entrepreneurs or thinking of being entrepreneurs, what's your big idea to tell them right here, right now, to get them to make a change?
We collaborate, we connect, and we have a community unlike any others. With over 118 chapters in the United States and Canada and 500,000 members, you have access to all of those things as a member. So you can visit another chapter. You can get connected with any members online. The sky's the limit as far as the collaboration and community.
So what happens when they go to the website?
Yeah.
And they look at it, and there's somewhere where they can go to get more information.
Yeah.
What happens first if they decide to do it?
They click on Pittsburgh, click on the Pittsburgh chapter, and the Pittsburgh chapter will come up, and you will see my welcome message. You will see me speaking in a little video welcoming them also to the Facebook page. And then the next thing they would do is email me, or if they like what they read and see, they can join right online. But contact me at Jan Elliott at ewomennetwork.com, and we set up a little phone call, a chat, and then I find out what they need, how I can help, what's their biggest challenge or their biggest struggle. And then we have a small business introduction, like about a 2-hour mastermind. We had a great one yesterday with 5 ladies. And then we get them plugged in, and then get them plugged into the live events.
So let's talk about their time commitment on a monthly basis. They start off, they get signed up with you, they have a conversation with you, a meeting with you or whatever, then they have this 2-hour mastermind brainstorm. Then what else do you suggest they do with you?
Well, it's a 2-hour monthly event where they would come with, again, they're going to be the third Tuesdays out in Nevillewood. And then we have, like our matchmaker program, and me being the managing director, I know everybody that's in the organization right now and who's coming into, and I can put them with people that, they need to meet. Maybe it's a customer, maybe it's something that they need to learn, maybe it's a product that they need to purchase. So there's all different avenues of what women entrepreneurs need.
So that's the time commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit, because you said they can already apply online, so I'm sure that the pricing's up there. Tell me what the financial investment is over the course of a year.
Yeah, the one-time lifetime fee is $357. That again covers 2 1-hour sessions with our premier coaches. There's one of I'm forgetting how many coaches. I'm going to say probably over 50 coaches that they can choose online. So you've kind of recouped your $300 back by having a coaching session with a premier coach right away. It gives you access to, again, our CEO, to Sandra Yancey, and her videos and her training and all of her online things. The $19.95 is a monthly membership. That gives you access to all the member profiles to keep your website up, keep connected with all the other women. The event out at Nevillewood is $30. It includes a plated lunch, a speaker, 2 rounds of networking, and me. My commitment to leadership and my background in coaching, and to really help women rise.
So I'm going to just do some quick math to show how this is such a small investment that could change their perspective.
Correct.
357. So in year one, 357 lifetime. 20 times 12 is 240. So now you're up to 557, 597.
Correct.
And then $30 a month is 360. So you're in for under $1,000 in year one. And then after that, it's only about $500 a year.
Correct.
And you're getting to go to these monthly things. You're getting access to you. You're a part of this network.
Right.
So if anybody's even remotely thinking about it, or if they're an entrepreneur, it's kind of crazy not to give it a shot.
Well, yeah, I would 100% agree with you. Let me give you an example. Yesterday, my 5 ladies that we met, again, we talk about our challenging. We had one gal there who does relationship coaching. She's just moved from Orange County, California to Morgantown, believe that or not. She's like struggling with that a little bit. So she called me and wanted to get connected. She does, relationship coaching. There were 2 gals there that need relationship coaching. There was an instant bond. The other gal is building a multi-million-dollar business in Rodan and Fields. It's a skincare company, very successful. Her husband is from Morgantown, West Virginia, where this woman just moved to. She's totally connected with that. Now, those things to me don't act by accident. The people are put in people's paths for a reason. The background of my potential member in Rodan and Fields was a broker in an insurance company for 30 years, and she was successful. I mean, money and career. The other woman on our team has just gone off by herself to do her own brokerage in insurance. They immediately connected doing that. That's what happens. It's incredible how people come together and say, wow, I need that. We had another gal there who is an IT person. We were all sitting there going, can you come to my house? Can you fix what's broken? She's the first one that I would go to.
It's eWomen Network, and it's eWomenNetwork.com.
Yes, correct.
It sounds to me like if you're listening and even debating it, you need to go to the website and give it a shot, simply because you're going to get a ton of resources for a small investment. If you're serious about doing something, or if you're just doing something that is your side hustle, that's a target market right there. Anyone doing a side hustle needs to do this, because they can learn so much. Or if someone's at a job that they feel like they're being drained and they're not sure how to do the entrepreneur thing, they can get this here. Yeah.
You might be the second smart man to come speak at our event.
We can do that. I don't know if I can live up to the smart, but I can definitely speak.
That's for sure. You're talking my language, yes.
Jan Elliott of eWomen Network, all kinds of cool stuff, plus your own business. Jan, was there anything I was supposed to ask you, or you thought I might ask you that I haven't yet?
Just to be aware of my own coaching program and how committed I am to working with women. I am doing some coaching, getting it setting up online right now. But I am going to be having some workshops out at Nevillewood, the small, intimate workshops to help women rewrite their money story and their life story. And that information is on my website at janelliottcoaching.com.
So we've got two websites that we'll put on the show notes.
Yeah.
janelliottcoaching.com and eWomenNetwork.com.
And actually faithfulretirement.com.
That's right. We don't want to forget about the book.
Because that's about the book and about, making that transition.
So the book is available where?
Amazon.
And is it paperback, hardcover, and also Kindle?
Yeah, it is.
Thinking about doing it on Audible?
Yes, I have. My coach has been after me to do that. She's like, you need to record this. People read this. Let me say one last thing. I am going to have my own podcast. There's something new for me.
Woo!
I know.
Jump in. It's fun.
I can't wait to do it. I've always wanted to do it. I'm a talker, as you can tell. I feel like I have a lot of things to say. I want to talk to the right women. I want to encourage women to come forward and speak about their challenges and how they've overcome them. The name of my podcast is Begin Again with Jan, because I believe that you are never too old. It's never too late to begin again, wherever you are in your life. You can start.
Inspiring messages throughout this show. Jan Elliott, thank you for being a guest.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
To our loyal No BSers, thanks for joining us for the No BS Marketing Show, brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audible.com/NoBS to get a free download of whatever book you choose and a 30-day trial. You'll have access to over 180,000 titles, and soon you'll have access to Jan's book. I'm putting her on the spot. And then visit masssolutions.biz for show notes plus additional marketing and messaging resources. Sign up for the No BS Marketing Weekly Update. You'll receive timely, valuable ideas to improve your marketing and transform your message. It's light, intended to be read in 2 minutes or less, and it just might trigger bright ideas for you. To sign up, visit masssolutions.biz. Remember, ask yourself, what's the big idea? And build your story around the answer. It's all about bold solutions, no BS.